Welcome back, Carmen.
Hello, Yasmina. So nice to see you again. I feel like
Yeah,
it's been like months since the last time we were here together. It was actually just last week. So
yeah,
really,
it feels like it, especially because I know
Mhm.
that a lot of us colleagues in Spain they're having these holidays.
um,
We are not. We are working and giving you the best material that you can have about esports. So we are here on Monday.
yeah,
So we have
one
an
more week.
amazing guest today, but let us introduce ourselves. I am Yasmina, an intellectual property lawyer, and my colleague, my wonderful Carmen.
Aw. Okay, so I'm Carmeline. I'm a host and interviewer and caster for League of Legends, a variety of games, and I'm very pleased to get to work with Yasmina. He's also an amazing colleague and a friend as well.
I think the same about you. I think you
Aw.
are an amazing friend. So, but we have here an amazing guest, and actually
Mhm.
that we're going to talk about brands that are not endemic. So let's
Woo.
start with hi, Jose.
Hello. Hello. Hey, Yasmina. Hey,
Welcome.
Carmen.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Thank you
Nice to
so
see you
much for
too.
coming to the program.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you? How are you today? How's your day?
Good, good. I always say that
Mhm.
it's Monday mood, but I'm happy when I see Carmen. So that's a good way to start the day.
Aw.
Yeah, it's a good way to start and to end the day, right? So it's yeah,
Exactly.
indeed,
It's a
indeed.
good way to start and end the day. But come on, you have to introduce yourself, Jose, because our audience doesn't know you. So let us know who is Jose García Valverde.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, as mentioned, my name is Jose. I'm Peruvian. I was born from two Peruvian parents. I'm Peruvian myself, of course. Um, and yeah, I grew up for the first 2 or 3 years of my life in Lima, Peru. But then my parents decided to move to Italy when I was around 3 years and a half, something like that. And yeah, I grew up there. I attended schools there, university, made most of my friends, if not basically all of them, are Italian or anyway, other immigrants that grew up in Italy, let's say it like that. And yeah, but I've been living abroad. I left Italy like around 8 years ago, something like that. And I've been living between Denmark, South Korea, and now Czech Republic for the last
Wow.
5 years. So yeah, and for the last 5 years, I've been working here in Prague in AB InBev. I cover different positions, and now working in the esports and gaming department of the company. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's basically who I am.
That's a lot, actually, and so many countries.
Indeed, great experiences, great countries. Yeah, so we can go more into detail later if we have some time. But yeah, absolutely, amazing countries.
I invite you so much. In any case, I'd like to ask you. Well, you were talking about your role there in Anheuser-Busch, and could you tell us a little bit about what was a video game that really made you fall in love with the esports industry,
Hmm.
the one that really got you into this?
Yeah. Um, Look, when you talk about games, I mean, I've been a gamer for my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
since I was a kid. There's always a story that my parents like to say that I have two older brothers, one brother and one sister, and they're both older than me. And they used to play Super Mario on the Super Nintendo. And I was very young. I was 3 years old, something like that, and I wanted to play with them. But at that age, you don't really understand the game. You just mash buttons and you think you're playing, you're winning.
And maybe you win.
Yeah, but my siblings actually wanted to play, right? So what they used to do was to pretend they were not in the house, like kind of play in silence, because I was bothering them too much. But like that was really already showed like the fact that I really love video games, right? And then I kind of moved over to play to PC, then PlayStation, PC again, and so on. But if there's one game that really made a mark into uh, mm, my, let's say, gaming career, if we can call it like that, it's Dota. It's Dota, and then the two, of course, because I dedicated, let's say, 6 years of my life to that game.
Wow.
And yeah, I've played a lot of Dota. I love the game. It started with Warcraft 3 back in the
Oh.
days. And yeah, and since then, like now, unfortunately, I don't play Dota anymore. After 6 years, I think it was time to part
No,
ways.
never let
To
it
part,
go.
yeah,
Continue
but
with them.
but yeah, but actually, I still watch the international.
Oh,
And I
nice
keep
one.
keep
Yeah.
keep updated here and there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but uh, you know when I think about a career in gaming and esports, um, I always thought, look, I love gaming, but I don't think I can get a career in gaming and esports. I don't even know what I would be able to do in gaming and esports. So it was always in the back of my mind, but I never thought, okay, one day I'm going to have a career in this. And then eventually, things changed a little bit in the company. In AB InBev, we started to grow more and more interest in the gaming and esports environment, in the gaming and esports audience, and we started to notice that we're not really playing any role in that environment. So um, we started to look into that, right? So we and I'm going to deep dive into it later, but we started to create a website called Cooldown to host these viewing parties, and then long story short, I managed to join the team because I'm really passionate about it. I realized that this is what I really wanted, right? This is what I really wanted to do, and if there was a chance for me to start my career in gaming and esports, that was it. That's where I had to go.
That's brilliant because you know that sometimes when we start in this industry, we don't realize that maybe we have certain tasks or certain abilities that maybe they can be developed. Because, for example, as me as a lawyer, or you that you working in a different company, then you end up are actually working in somehow in the ecosystem. But before we go there, I wanted to just know a little bit about your career path before that
Mhm.
and how they help you. If you feel that all these different professions that you have or you manage, if they help you in the position that you are today.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I started, I have a degree in actually my bachelor was completely unrelated. I have a bachelor in translation in English and
Okay.
Oh,
French.
nice.
And then I moved to communication and business in Denmark. And I did some jobs. My very first job was in a call center, and I used to call people to, like, I probably, a lot of people hated me for this, but I used to call people to sell, to convince them to buy wine and or olive oil. So that was my very first, completely unrelated to gaming and esports, right? Yeah, and then fast forward, after Denmark, I started to work in medical devices company called Coloplast. Um, in Korea, I did some part-time jobs for LG as a translator, and then
Okay.
I landed in AB InBev. And I would say that uh, the jobs in Coloplast and LG, of course, started to give me a sneak peek into what was the corporate world, the corporate environment, how to behave, how to work with colleagues from different backgrounds and so on, and especially in a different country. Um, but then I really had my introduction into the corporate world when I joined AB InBev. And the first position that I covered was in what we call people, which is HR. And I
Okay.
used to manage the recruitment process for our graduate programs. In AB InBev, we have 4 graduate programs where we hunt for the best graduates that are out there across Europe. And they have to pass different tests in order to get accepted to this program. And I used to manage the whole recruitment cycle. So that what I used to do. I used to travel a lot. It was an amazing position, super interesting. And then one thing that is really good about AB InBev is that it lets you try different things. Even if you worked for 1 year, 2 years in people in HR, doesn't mean that you have to stay there for your whole career. But instead, you can move to another department, and that's exactly what I did. I moved to our IT department called Solutions, and I moved there as a IT project manager. taking care of a finance application where we had to transfer some processes from one program to another, basically. Yeah, and then when I was working as an IT project manager, one day I overheard a colleague talking about League of Legends, talking about viewing parties and so on. I was like, what is happening? Like, why are we touching these topics in AB InBev, right? And then I approached him. I introduced myself. We started to talk about what he used to do, and yeah, that's basically how I got my first step into the esports and gaming team of AB InBev, right? So yeah, that's basically like what happened in the
Oh my
last
God, you
5 years.
you have a lot of experience. I have to ask you if at the end you managed to sell any oil or.
Actually, I did.
Oh my
I
God,
did.
I'm proud of
I
you,
was
my
not. I'm
man.
not. I'm not the best salesman, unfortunately, but it was an
But you
experience
did
also,
it.
that one. Yeah, it was. I did it. I did it. I managed to do it. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
People, for sure, people hated me, but
No, no, but I think that's
it
help
is
you at
what it
the end
is.
to actually to end up in Eastward. Like you were management to be able to sell it, and then you sell yourself for the
Yeah.
project for sure, for sure.
Absolutely. 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 Indeed. Indeed. But yeah, I mean, AB InBev is overall it's a great school, and from that point of view, and really took me as recent graduates, that I only had in my belt like an internship and a few experiences here and there, and yeah, like improved me and literally taught me a lot of things from a professional point of view and also personal point of view, of course. So
So we've been talking about the name of the company all this time. They would
Mhm.
like you to tell us a little bit about the products that you actually sell, so that people might be like,
Yeah, indeed.
okay, now I know this company. I've bought things from them. So could
Yeah,
you tell us a little bit about it?
absolutely. So AB InBev is basically the largest beer producer slash beverage producer in the world. We own and produce brands like Corona, Stella Artois, Budweiser, Bud Light, and we have in our portfolio at a global level around 500 brands. We
Wow.
employ more than 170,000 people at a worldwide level. So, and our dream as a company is to bring people together for a better world through our brands, right? So, really sharing. How many times have you shared a great moment to celebrate something, a graduation, a marriage, or a birthday party over a beer? And that's exactly what we want to do as a company, right? Really put forward our brands to allow people to share and celebrate this moment, of course, in a responsible way. And yeah, that's basically what the company does, what the company stands for, right? So it's I think it's a great company. I really like to work for AB InBev. I love the products, and when you love the products, that's
That's
what the
easy.
company does. It's a plus, right?
It's good
And
easy.
and yeah, and then who doesn't love beer? And even if you don't like beer, right? We have in our portfolio we have so many products ranging from vitamin waters, energy drinks. Sometimes it's really hard to keep track, but I mentioned the biggest ones, let's
And
say.
I have some friends who love energy drinks, but I think our audience is going to love all the products that you say, especially me. And I hope one day you bring us something for Eastwood Fitness Life. That will be really
I'll
nice.
try. I'll try my best. I'll try my
And
best.
I will, and I hope some of the audience make a click here, so we have the promise there.
All right. All right. I now have to do it. I have to do it. I'll try my best. Absolutely.
And now the question that we wanted to ask you: how the company decided to get involved with the esport.
Yeah, absolutely. So, basically, I need to go a little bit back in time, and in 2018, yeah, around 2018, to explain this, to answer your question. So inside the company, we have what we call Beer Garage Incubator, and basically, it's a sort of, as the name says, it's an incubator for potential startups. So you go there, you pitch a potential idea that could become a new business line of AB InBev, right? And
Love
the
it.
ideas are, for creating a new website that serves different purposes and so on, right? And one of these ideas was what back in the days was called My Local Esports Bar. So what
Oh,
is My Local Esports Bar? Long story short is, esports fans don't have the possibility to go to any bar and watch esports, right? Despite the fact
It's
that
true.
esports audience is growing massively every single year. Yeah, I was reading some Newzoo um, article saying that by 2024, like there's going to be around 577 million people at a worldwide
wow.
level that are going to watch esports, right? But at this point in time, if I go like here in Prague, I don't know where to watch esports. Like the only
Mhm.
places where I can watch it are here in front of my laptop, or if I travel to, I don't know where in like, let's take the words of League of Legends words, right? If I go to Iceland,
Mhm.
um, for COVID, unfortunately, it's not even possible. But if I go to Iceland and I go and buy the ticket and I attend the event, which of course is quite expensive, right? Um, so yeah, we decided to create this platform. Back in the days, was called My Local Esports Bar. Then we
Mhm.
rebranded as Cooldown to really leverage the network of bars that we have, to convince them to show esports at their bars.
Nice.
But at the same time, we are creating on the platform, on the website, a community of esports lovers, right? So that you can
Mhm.
go on the website. One day you can go on the website on the cooldown.gg, and where is the closest bar that is streaming esports. I want to watch the League of Legends final. I know that I can watch it in the bar like 2 or 3 blocks away from my house, and I'm going to invite some friends. We're going to share a beer all together, and we're going to watch League of Legends or Dota or CS:GO, whatever you like, right? So this is our dream, and we really want to democratize, let's say, the way that esports is being watched now in Europe, mostly in the UK, where we are operating,
Oh,
but hopefully in the next years we're going to expand and and get bigger and bigger, right? So this is how, let's say, the esports and gaming department was born in AB InBev.
No, but I love the idea
mm.
because it's like their eternal discussion if esport is a
Mhm.
sport or not. But actually, the experience are the same. Like we wanted to enjoy, to spend time with the people who love it, and if it could be possible in a place, in a bar or something, a pub or something, bring in a beer, precisely a
Yeah,
beer. That would be really
or
nice.
whatever you want to
So
drink, is even if it's a soft drink like
could be
water, right?
water, could be
So it,
water. Yeah,
or
for
if you don't want to
sure.
drink anything, that's fine, right? But at least you can be physically with friends, and there's nothing wrong with what having a viewing party on Discord online, absolutely. But
Mm.
we also want to give a choice to people that would like to gather with 5, 10, 15, 20 of their friends and watch esports. So, and I think we think like Cooldown the Cooldown website has the potential to really make this possible.
I mean, I'm checking it out right now, and I'm seeing loads and loads of bars that I find really interesting here, because sometimes when you're traveling, even you might want to watch some esports event on the road. You don't have your computer with you. You will have to watch it on your phone, and you really want to have access to that content and some sort of bigger platform. And I find this to be really helpful. So thank you very much. I will be using it in the future. But now onto a little bit of a heavier topic.
Hmm.
Um, like, how is it like to work in the esports department for a non-endemic brand, for a non-endemic company? Is it any different?
Um, yes, it's very different, right? Especially since we are building a brand a brand and a website from zero, right? So at the moment, so what you have to do is really build credibility, um, both internally in the company, but also externally, right? Internally in the company, because you need to talk with senior stakeholders and, let's say, convince them that this is the way to go. This is where to invest, because esports is growing. It is our target audience, and at the moment, actually, if we talk about this, there's not really any platform like Cooldown at a worldwide level, at least not that we know. So and moreover, our reason to believe also in this platform is that we, as a beer company, can leverage our massive network of bars that we have at a global level. So yeah, that's from an internal point of view, you need to create that buy-in, sell the product, sell the fact that esports is growing and so on. And also from an external point of view, you need to create a brand from zero, because at the moment we don't have that kind of authority slash credibility to tell people, hey, go to an esports viewing party, because not a lot of people know us, right? So we are not at the level of esports teams like Fnatic or Team Liquid, whoever it is, right? So we're really building the brand from zero, but we believe in this because we have seen from our previous experiences that the concept works. The concept works. We had esports viewing parties with 500 people, 200 people, or even like smaller ones like 20 people. So it really depends on who we partner with, the size of the event that we want to create, and many different things. One of the success stories that we have inside Cooldown is that one of our team members, Josh, he onboarded a bar called SR1 in the UK, the north of the UK, and he started to create recurring events for esports called Bud Light Tuesdays.
Wow.
So that every Tuesday it was dedicated to esports. All right. Of course, the first one, like only 2-3 people showed up. Not much traction, of course. But fast forward, I think a month and a half or something like that, 2 months after, he had around 200 people showing up to watch esports, right? And that generated for the bar owner additional revenue that he would have not had if he didn't decide to create the Bud Light Tuesdays and to promote it on Cooldown, right? To have recurring events on Cooldown, right? So it's an advantage for us because we sell more beer. Yes, that's great, but also this means that also the bar owner sells more beer, they get more revenue, and they fill the bar when there's no Champions League, there's no FIFA World Cup out there to show, and I think it's a win-win situation for both sides, right? For everyone.
It seems so. And definitely, I think is also a really good way to kind of get sort of an update to near trends for the bar owner. Like it's a really interesting idea, and I would like to know more about it. But I think Yasmina already has a question for herself. So
Yeah, yeah, actually, yes. I wanted to know more because, of course, as Carmen say, you are a non-endemic rank. Of course, you started this new project from zero, but for example, you're not like a normal non-endemic
Mhm.
brand. I mean, you sell beer and alcoholic drinks, and of course, as we know, some of the target are people who are underage, so they don't have like the majority of age to actually drink.
Mhm.
So I wanted to know how was your strategy, which is the one that you're trying to focus in order to get to target, and if you found some difficulties, especially because of this.
Yeah, indeed. There's a lot of barriers, right? Like overall, AB InBev as a company has a lot of barriers, of course, obviously to target certain audiences, as we are mostly a beer company. But not only, we also sell non-alcoholic beverages. We were talking before, before starting the live, that uh, we are aiming to, as a company, to get 20 or 25% of our revenue coming from non-alcoholic beverages, or anyway, low alcoholic beverages. And this really changes a little bit the strategy of how we move forward with Cooldown, since Cooldown is, at least we're trying to build an endemic brand of esports. We make sure that people that are on the platform or anywhere registered on the platform are 18 plus, so that even if we don't promote directly beer, they're not going to be exposed to that kind of content. And also, of course, we rely, if there are any sports viewing parties, we rely on the bar owners to check if there are minors coming to their bars, right? But from that point of view, we make sure that people that sign on the platform, there is a vetting process for people that you cannot sign up on the platform if you're below 18. So yeah, and definitely from that point of view, we need to adapt. But also we need to adapt as a pure company as AB InBev, because some companies are a bit reluctant to partner up with us because they see us only as an alcohol beverage company, and our job is to really change that perception. We are more than that, and what we're doing with Cooldown really demonstrates it, right? Building a brand from zero, building a website that provides events to the esports audience, and yeah, that's it, right? So it's a long road, but we're working on it.
Yeah, but I like it that you say it because sometimes we see a non-endemic brands and some of them are quite difficult to actually get access because, of course, Domino's is quite easy because it's pizza and we can think it easily. But of course, alcoholic drinks are always more difficult. But hey, if you are managing, this means something from the company. And I think you have a question here. I know that you wanted to
Oh,
go further.
yes. So I heard you mentioned Fanatic before, and now you've done partnerships with them with Optic Gaming as well. So, Fanatic, Optic Gaming, for those of you who are not so into the teams part of esports, two of the biggest brands in the entire industry. So I did want to ask you what these teams ask of you, and what do you want to receive from these teams as well?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, we when you try to build a brand, even if it's an endemic brand in the world of esports, you need to build that credibility in the esports environment, in the community. You need to teach the community, okay, this is why we're here. This is the role that we're playing in the esports environment. And of course, we cannot do this alone. We need partners to do this. And we partner up with Optic Gaming because we thought that they were the best partner for us. They were giving us visibility to the US and the UK market, especially since their audience is English speaking, and we are mostly having esports viewing parties in the UK at the moment, right? And the partnership went really well. They promoted Cooldown because they really believed in the project. They really believed that this is the way to go in the future. And we both, let's say, we wanted to get access to the community, and at the same time for them to showcase, hey, this platform, they're promoting this platform because it brings value to the esports community. It's not just promoting a brand somewhere, sticking it up there and that's it, right? It's something that we believe really creates value for the esports community. And the partnership worked out really well. Same thing with Fnatic. With Fnatic, we partner up initially to have some esports viewing parties. We ran esports viewing parties in London, also in Paris. This was pre-COVID, actually. Unfortunately, COVID slowed us down from that point of view, having esports events in bars.
Okay.
But we also did, in collaboration with Fnatic, an unrelated to Cooldown, the first very on-pack promo in collaboration with Bud Light. So people could buy the beer, the Bud Light beer, and could enter a competition and get the chance to win a headset branded Fnatic, or as a first prize, the chance to play against an esports professional player
Wow.
from Fnatic, right?
Nice.
So, and this is exactly one of the things that we're trying to bring to the community, something that you really cannot buy. You cannot go out there and buy an experience with a professional player from Fnatic, right? Playing with him or her,
Certainly
and
not.
yeah, indeed, exactly. So and yeah, so and also going, and this generated a lot of value, right? Both from the brand Bud Light, which started to play a role and have some visibility into the esports and gaming environment. We noticed with hard data that actually this partnership worked because we compared the number of sales that Bud Light had in 2019, and we compared it to those that Bud Light had in 2020 for the same time It was the partnership ran from I think January. No, sorry, from November until February.
Mhm.
Um, and we saw an increase in sales of almost 10%, which
What?
of course generated value for the brand and also for Fanatic, right? And here, to go back to your question before, what are you looking for in partnerships, right? In this case, we were looking to get access to the community that Fanatic has, but at the same time, Fanatic was looking for to get access to get brand visibility in places where they don't usually have, which are supermarkets. Like in what way Fanatic can get their brand in millions of
Interesting.
in thousands of supermarkets in every in the whole UK, right? So and we can bring that power to the table, right? So thanks to our huge network of wholesalers and so on. So yeah.
I mean, that's so cool, and I will go crazy if I saw a something branded fanatic on the supermarket. You know, like if I go to buy in the Solid CDs, and I'm like, hey, we had that in Spain with some brands, and we found it very
Hmm.
interesting because
Hmm.
you will
I think
just
it
go to
was,
the section. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I think it was with Fonbey or something. I
I
think they
think
did like,
so.
yeah, with it, with they did kind of strategy was quite nice, like putting like the figures or the trademarks of the teams or something. There was something quite similar, but not with that collaboration with Fanatic. That's true.
I mean, that's another step ahead, right? And I will have loved to see it. But yeah, so I'm really wanting to go to one of these stream parties now. I'm just in the mood for
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see. Let's see. Maybe we'll like we will expand soon in Spain. Who knows?
please.
Yeah.
Please, and bring us
Yeah, but
beer. That would be
Yeah.
nice. I'm gonna continue to do
Yes.
that partnership
Yeah.
here.
I see that you didn't forget. I was hoping
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
That's a good thing.
I'm joking.
I will bring you back. But now I'm going to be a little bit bad. But I wanted to hold on
oh,
this because it's quite nice that you were telling about this
mhm,
project and this partnership. But I wanted to go to your main project that is Down. Sorry, Cool
Cool
Down.
down. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
mhm,
Correct.
I just wanted to know a little bit if you can sell it right now here. Say what value can bring to the industry so the audience
mhm.
fully understand what it means. So try to sell it to me at least now.
Oh,
Oh
I dare
wow.
you.
Wow. Like, do you remember like before I told you like I'm not a good
yeah.
salesperson, right? So now
No,
you're
I
putting me to
trust
the
you
test,
are.
right?
You are.
Like
You
look
sell
like
oil.
very simple, right? We know that especially after 2020 people are want to connect and want to see each other out there. We know that esports is massive, is growing. There's a lot of interest around it, but esports fans don't really have a place where to watch esports that is not online, right? So with Cooldown, we're really creating a lot of different places inside bars where to watch esports, when the community can gather, when people can gather, make new friendships, drink some beers, sodas, water, whatever you want to do, but really to create, we hope, memorable moments in the world of esports while watching Dota 2, while watching League of Legends, whatever you want, right? And also it's a way to change the mentality of bar owners, because bar
Mhm.
owners are we think they're really fixated into just showing football or anyway traditional sports, but they don't really know about this massive community that is esports and the value that it can bring to them. So I don't know if I sold it to you, but
You
that's
sell it. You sell it. Don't
what
worry.
I would say.
Good to even if you didn't bring me a beer, I'm
Yeah,
sold.
but I
That
will. I
was
will.
nice.
Like, I will. I will. It's
Now
a
I leave
promise. It's
you
a
with
promise.
someone so nice as Carmen because now Carmen is nice. I can be a bad girl sometimes.
I, I also want a beer for myself, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask for
sure,
it anymore.
You can do it a
sure,
beer
sure,
as well.
sure. I
I
think I think
actually,
a Corona would be the best, right? With all the sun that you have in Spain,
That's
ah,
true.
and
That would be nice.
yeah, that would be the best. Nice Corona with its lime inside would be the best choice.
now you're selling us these things.
Yeah.
You see, you can,
I want the beer.
yeah. So I'm very invested in this storyline so far, and we've been discussing how well alcoholic
Hmm.
brands can be different from other
Hmm.
types of products because of like
Yes.
the implications. But this is a real interesting thing. We've mentioned a few teams, but you actually partnered with Riot Games back
Hmm.
in day, and yeah,
Yeah, no, go ahead.
any.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question was, what were the implications of this agreement, if you could tell us? And also, what was the main challenge with them? Because I think they've been quite reluctant to introduce this kind of products into the
Mhm.
esports scene. So, how was it?
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, I cannot really answer completely your
Oh,
question
Oh
simply because
no.
for a reason, because
hmm,
I work for AB InBev in Europe, and
okay.
as
Oh, Alcius.
AB InBev, yeah, indeed, AB InBev has a partnership through Bud Light with
Okay.
and Riot, sorry, in the US, right? Indeed, with the LCS.
Okay.
So it's one country, and let's say the legislation from that point of
Hmm.
view, it's easier from what we understand in the few conversations that we had with Riot.
Hmm.
Whereas in Europe, a lot of different countries, a lot of different
Oh,
laws, and
yeah.
it makes it a little bit harder to, create one
Lawyers.
single partnership at a European level, right? So
Okay,
unfortunately, I cannot give insights on that partnership.
it's fine.
But yeah, let's hope that one day we are going to partner up with Riot because yeah, that would be really the best overall for I think for one of our brands, but also for
Hmm.
Cooldown, right? We had conversations with them, and they're okay
Hmm.
with the concept of Cooldown. They like it. It's also visibility, for League of Legends or for Valorant for
Hmm.
the brands.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
it's good, right? And it's also like bringing people together, as I mentioned before, bringing people together to watch a match of League of Legends, to watch a match of
Right.
Valorant.
No, no.
It really cannot hurt anybody, right? So it's just it's again also in this case win-win situation for both AB Mev, but also for Riot, I think.
I
No,
mean, if
that
I
would be
think
wonderful.
I'm
Because
thinking
that
about it, and there is a League of Legends character, Gragas, who literally drinks barrels
Yes,
of
Gagas
wine.
drink beer. Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah. Once, yeah,
maybe,
yeah, yeah, indeed. Who knows?
Jasmina,
Maybe in the future.
I wanted to make a small question
go go.
Sure.
beforehand. Okay, so um, this is something that I also thought about. Like Bud Light in the US is quite well known.
Hmm.
However, in Europe, I don't know. Apart like in Spain, I know you
Hmm.
didn't have those many.
Hmm.
Let's say I haven't seen it so much.
Hmm.
So what product would you like to commercialize here in Europe if you could, apart from Bud Light, or will it be with
Um,
that brand?
Look at the brand, one of our global brands that we have, and
Hmm.
it's um, it's the most widespread, let's say, in Europe. And by widespread, I mean that it's available in a lot of different countries.
Hmm.
Is Budweiser, right?
Yeah.
Um, and ideally, that would be the brand that could dominate the conversation around gaming and esports. But as I mentioned before, we're still working on
Hmm.
having internal buy-ins, and also it's about convincing the brand about investing in esports, right? It's a completely new,
Of
uh,
course.
as we call them, is a completely new passion point, right? Because Budweiser invests a lot of money into football, into fashion, into music, and we really need to evaluate if adding esports is the best choice for the brand, right? And these evaluations need to be done by people way higher than me at a higher level in the company, right? So, but
Mhm.
um, I think that with Cooldown, what we're doing is we're really detaching a little bit ourselves from just focusing on the brands,
Okay.
but creating something that is completely different and unique. And by the way, creating the very first and only endemic esports brand in our company, right, at a global
Mhm.
level.
Hmm.
So it's a challenge that we have. I would like to see eventually Budweiser dominating the esports conversation in Europe, but it's also in this case it's
Mhm.
I need to convince the right stakeholders internally to invest in it, right? So
Hey, we'll wait and see what way it goes, but definitely I will be trying whatever product you decide to release here in Europe with under
Indeed.
some sort of esports partnership.
I will definitely try as well. And related with this, because of course it's challenging all the things that you're and talking about it, but at the same time I was thinking, as you say in Cold Down, the thing that Riot was interesting of the idea and they see an opportunity over there, but I imagine it has to really hard because at the end you have to talk with the bartenders, with the publishers from
Mhm.
the perspective of legal and all the things that you have to take into account. So I wanted to ask you a little bit how was the most challenging part that you noticed with this project, and if you notice that it's starting to move, especially now that the
Mhm.
pandemic is, I'm not going to
Yeah,
say over, but it's getting
yeah,
better.
yeah,
So
yeah.
because I
Indeed,
imagine the pandemic was a huge problem when it started.
indeed, absolutely. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the launch of what was back in the days my local esports bar was a bit unfortunate because we launched in late 2019, if I recall correctly,
Oh,
Oh,
and then yeah, we did some viewing parties. We noticed, this is working. We see people are interested in viewing parties, and then 2020 hits, and you know
mm,
every single bar at a worldwide level closed.
yes.
Nothing that you can do about it. But this also gave us an opportunity, right? Because as you may notice, my local esports bar is a little bit of a long name. It's a bit of a mouthful. We focused on improving the website, making the platform better, redesigning it from scratch. So uh, yeah. Sorry, I lost myself a little bit. What was your
No,
question
don't
again?
worry. I was more like the challenges that if the that you
The
noticed,
challenges,
especially
yeah.
because
The challenges, yeah, indeed. The challenges, like, look, is one of the things that I mentioned before is besides the internal buy-ins, but is a lot about the shifting the minds of bar owners, right? Because
oh, okay.
the bar owners really need to be introduced to what is esports, starting from zero, right? Explain them what is esports, why it brings value to them, why they should be on cooldown. So it really needs to be a slow convincing process for every single one of them, right? And then we believe that at a certain point, we're going to reach hopefully a critical mass of users and bar owners, that this is going to be a snowball effect. So people are going to know about cooldown. They will see clearly why it adds value. So that's, we need a little bit less convincing to do, right, for the bar owners. And also, I think, and that's like, let's say, still a challenge, but I think less challenging than shifting the mindset of bar owners, is um, you know presenting this opportunity to esports fans, right? Because as I mentioned before,
Oh,
there are really limited places where to watch esports, and esports fans are not used to go to a bar and watch esports because simply there's not an alternative out there. So it's just about presenting this to them, this alternative to them, and really present it to them in the best possible way and make them have a good time when they decide to attend an event, right? So that's this. I would say these are the most challenging things.
no, especially there's a good job because I imagine for the tenders has to be really hard because at the end they come from a traditional perspective. Like they say that's not a sport, that doesn't make any sense. And it says no, there's a huge community and there's a new generation, and you want to continue your bar, right? That's
Indeed,
important.
indeed. But let's see
Yeah.
how it's going to play out. And indeed, now that the pandemic, as you said, it's got better. It's not over for sure, but we have seen that bar owners really, because they've been closed for such a long time, they want
oh yeah.
clients in the
Mm.
bars. They want to find new lines of businesses that they can um, uh, get advantage on, right? So when they see this new opportunity, they're a little bit confused, but at the same time, signing up on cooldown and really trying out an event, they have nothing to lose. They really have nothing to lose, and most of the times, like we have seen, that they are satisfied about it,
Oh.
so they continue to do it. SR1 is that I mentioned before, is a case, is an amazing case that I always talk about. So yeah, it's just
Yeah.
about having we have a close relationship with our internal sales team, so
Mhm.
they go out there and they talk about this with potential bar owners, and so
Imagine Carmen watch the words in a pub.
Oh,
That would be great.
yes,
yeah.
strong bar culture in Spain, right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have to go to the cinemas, the ones that actually want to bring worlds to like the bigger
Yeah.
screen, or that we can go to an esports bar, which I think are spreading quite quickly all around Spain. But
Hmm.
at the same time, it's sort of a case of it's not as big as it could be. I mean, I love going to esports bars, and I think I'm the record holder for the person who's visited the most
Nice.
esports bar in Europe.
Nice.
I've been to many of them because I really love the experience. Once again, meeting people that have the same interests as you, I find it very interesting. But apart from bars and convincing bar owners, what
Hmm.
other projects do you have in mind to expand into the esports industry? Perhaps partnership with another team,
Yeah.
or
No, yeah, there are things cooking out there. Like, unfortunately, I cannot share them.
Oh,
What I can share for sure is that actually um, we are continuing the partnership with Fnatic. So
okay.
this weekend, this Sunday, we have two big events planned with them. One in London, one in Paris,
Oh,
for the
okay.
playoffs of the League. Yeah,
what?
it's for the playoffs of League of Legends. So it's going to be an event that starts really early. Like, I think maybe I'm going to mess up the times now, but it's going to start at 10:30 in the morning, and it's going to end like at 5, 6 or something like that. And yeah, so in this case, like, we are really we're good at creating parties, at finding locations where to host these parties, and on the other side, Fnatic really brings the community to the table, and there's going to be also some giveaways, some goodies to grab. So yeah, we're really looking forward to this event because we hope it's going to be a really nice experience for the community, and you know uh, a new place where to be after such a long time inside apartments, uh, and not being in contact with a lot of people. So yeah,
This
so
also
that's it.
makes me. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I was thinking that if these, like let's say traditional sports bars, they decide to kind of include esports into the entire selling point,
Hmm.
then if the competitions like Worlds just run from 10 a.m. To like 5 in the evening, you do not only have breakfast there, but you can also have lunch. You can also have even dinner. So,
Well, maybe
like,
bars
I
will have
see
to
the
adapt, right?
future.
So
yeah,
maybe bars will have to adapt. Who knows? So
it's
we'll see, right? Only time will tell. So
that's a big source of income
yeah,
right there.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Indeed. But
I
like,
love.
besides having these viewing parties for Word, um, we are also working on improving the platform itself, to improving the cooldown platform. We have some functionalities that we hope are going to make the website even better. We're going to engage even more with the community, and yeah, and overall, we have in our backlog, as we call it, a lot of cool stuff that we want to roll out as soon as possible. And hopefully, if
Mhm.
the situation stays like this, we don't go back into a lockdown. It's going to be
Yes.
amazing for the esports community. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, I cannot share more details,
Oh.
but
That's
but
a
yeah, but
shame, really, that
yeah,
you cannot.
uh, but hopefully, I will be able to do it soon. So
I hope so that you can come back to the program and you tell us more about it. And
Yeah.
I see that starting to have some questions. So first of all, I will give it to one of them, and then I want them to remind our audience that if they want to
mhm.
make some question, we'll put it like at the 10 minutes before we handed the presentation.
So now.
Yeah, actually yes. But first of all, the last maybe more or less question that I would like to make is like how you see you. Oh, sorry, I'm going to say it so bad. The name of the enterprise. I'm so
Just
sorry.
go at it. Don't
And
Go for
worry.
it.
and how's it? Sorry, Anheuser-Busch. Sorry about
Anheuser-Busch, Anheuser-Busch InBev.
In the
Anheuser.
house.
Sorry, I cannot.
You can say AB InBev. It's fine. It's totally
Maybe.
fine.
That's a good thing. How do you see it in the future in 10 years and 5 years? How if you see it grow and evolving in the esport, and if you can tell us any other partnership that you're thinking to consider?
Ooh. Well,
Oh,
like
good with something there.
that's I mean, I don't know, like in 10 years, it's a long time. Look,
5 years
we really think that, at least I really think that esports and gaming is going to be the new go-to entertainment at a worldwide level. So, like now you have Netflix, where you spend, quite some time. At least a lot of people spend quite some time every day on it. But gaming is growing and growing and growing, and we think that's going to be the main point of contact for. Um, to reach the people that we are interested, right? To reach with our brands. So I hope that in the future, through our brands, AB InBev is going to, let's say, be more relevant in the esports and gaming community, and um, we hope that it's not going to. Like, I don't think it's going to be like just by putting the name of a brand during an event and that's it, but is by creating value for the community, right? Coming up with ideas to um, create value for the esports community, even addressing some problems. For example, one of the things that was done by a brand in Colombia called Pony Malta was
Oh.
to create an esports, an all-female, an all-women esports team, right? Also
Oh,
to address
nice.
the all the bullying online, all
Mm.
the bad things that are being said online about women gamers in the gaming industry and so on, and that had a lot of success, right? So we really believe that having this kind of initiatives to empower women, to empower people in the esports community, creating safe spaces, like for example, Cooldown does as well, it's the way to go. So value, in my opinion, value first, and it's the strategy we would need, that we will need to focus for in the next 5 years or anyway in the future.
Great. I really like it. I know that
I
actually.
don't know if I answer your question. Sometimes
No, no, you
I'm a
did
little bit
it.
all over the place. Sorry about that.
Don't worry, because especially I ask you for 10 years, and then I think, oh my God, this sport changed like in 1 month and changed so much so quickly that saying 10 years, we
And
maybe.
and also who knows how is gaming going to look like in 10 years,
Yes,
right? This
exactly.
is
With
going to
all
be
the
which games
virtual
and which
reality.
esports are
Yeah.
going to be out there available, right?
I hope a
So
Ready Player One experience in the future. I really hope
exactly,
for it.
yeah. I am exactly. I'm really looking for. I already see myself like in
I see myself too.
30 years when I will be
30
retired.
years.
Yeah, 30 years,
Great.
like playing video games, like when I will
And
be
having all
retired
the
and so on.
feelings.
So yeah, exactly. So I will play video games until until I will be able to. So
I
that's
like it. That's the
yeah,
spirit.
I like it. Yeah, yes.
So
So
I
we have,
have
yeah.
yeah,
Ah,
go
go,
ahead,
Carmen. Go,
Josephine.
go.
I just was thinking about it. What about the streamers? What's the deal with that? Like, are you working with any of them right now? Do you plan on doing
Mm,
so?
yeah, look, we in order to promote Cooldown right now, we have in place an influencer campaign
Okay.
Oh,
that
nice.
has kicked off from a few days. Um,
Okay.
so we are collaborating with a few influencers to promote the platform itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but really, we do it because again they have the keys to the community, and they are the ones that really have the most power to promote uh, what is Cooldown, right? So
Yeah.
this is the way that we're working with them at the moment. In the future, maybe there's going to be um, other different ways. For example, the first thing that comes to my mind is, can we bring to these esports viewing parties an influencer, right? So
Mhm.
that would be super cool, right? Seeing your influencer there popping up at an esports viewing party, or even a Fnatic player or a Team Liquid player, or like
Now you sell it to
it could be
Carmen. You sell it
it could
to
be
her.
super cool. The opportunities are endless. So it's there's a lot of things that we can do. So it's just about deciding which to prioritize first and which can bring the most value for cooldown on down the long term.
I mean, just as another anecdote, once, one of the times that I went to watch esports at a cinema, they had invited people from Spanish teams. So
Hmm.
it was a real different experience to be able to share all that enthusiasm with them. But in any case, that's just my experience. I guess some other people would rather not have them around just because you get nervous and you're like, oh my gosh,
No,
this
come on.
person
I
that you
think
don't
with
watch
a
the game.
beer, that will be get better.
Yeah, I mean, that's also true. But you had said we had a question on the chat, so Yasmina, I'll give you the honor to do it.
Yes, we have it from Rey Pescador. I love your name, by the way.
He's your king.
Don't you think that that most of the traditional bars will broadcast esport?
Um, no, I think that it's maybe it will happen in 10 years, maybe because of cooldown, who knows. But at the moment it's really an education process, so
Yeah.
maybe the new generation, right, the new generation of the current people that are like 20 years, 20 plus, and maybe they want to be bar owners, or they will inherit a bar in the future. They will think about, okay, esports is the way to go. I want to be I want to show esports in my bar, right? But at the moment, it's I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, because of what I said before, right? It's really takes time to educate a bar owner into a new process, into new sports that they know nothing about. Maybe they never even heard about it, or they have heard about it, but they don't know what it is. It's confusing. Online
Mhm.
games, what is that? It's like, so it's really takes time, and this is the problem that we're trying to solve.
It makes me think of this sport that Mad Lions did like not so long ago. I think it was this year, but they were showing a classic Spanish bar, like a really old-fashioned one, and you could see elders just discussing League of
Hmm.
Legends and like, oh, that
Yeah.
tower, that baron, and it really showed like what could be the future. And
Yeah,
I mean, at some point they will have to adapt because if the public
absolutely.
is growing so much, then well, perhaps the partnership with Mad Lions will be very
Yeah,
fitting,
it'd be
right?
great.
Like,
Yes.
right?
Let's see now. But absolutely right. Imagine all the like all the generational change that is going to be, like people that are
Hmm.
now growing up with esports already, and later on, like when they're going to be 30 plus, 40 plus, and so on, they will still want to watch esports. And who knows, maybe one day esports is going to replace traditional sports, right? So from a
Well,
point of view of viewership, popularity, uh, and so on. And from a certain point of view, it's already happening right now, right? Let's think about Words. Uh, Words has a massive audience in the hundreds of millions of people that watch it. So yeah, I'm sure that it's already more popular than some traditional sports out there, right? So yeah,
yeah.
it's a matter of time, I think.
I think it's certainly because it's evolving so much, and now getting to the audience that are so young and they don't actually maybe they if they watch other esports, no, sorry, other sports.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Other sports normally will be maybe because they're family, but not so much
Indeed,
about themselves. So that's the thing. The
Oh,
I think is a
but
nice project that you have in mind.
indeed. But also, like, I think that there's another barrier, right? Esports, um, the the learning curve to really understand, let's say, a game of League
hmm.
of Legends or a game of Dota, it's it's really steep, right? You need to dedicate quite some time before you understand. Okay, there's five people versus five people,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
and there's towers, and there's every player has different abilities, and there's more than 100 champions or characters, how you want to call them, in every single game. So yeah, it takes time. It takes time, but I really believe that the next generation is going to prefer watching esports, or anyway watch even more gaming esports content, even in bars. So yeah, fingers crossed.
So, Jose, we've run out of time, but I would like you to give us a closing statement before we send you to backstage and we get to say goodbye to the audience. So, the stage is yours.
A closing sentence. Look, I'm keep an eye on Cooldown. The website is thecooldown.gg. As I mentioned,
I'm
we
going to share
have
it here.
thanks. We have esports viewing parties in collaboration with Fnatic coming up this weekend. So if you are in London or Paris, take a look. There's going to be, besides having great company, you're going to have the chance to, win giveaways, prizes, and so on. And keep an eye on the website overall, because maybe more sooner than later, you're going to have esports viewing parties very close to you, and you'd be able to attend them. So yeah, that's it.
So now we have to have an eye on you. So I hope our audience do it as well. And thank you so much, Carmen, because I saw that you put it in the chat
Oh, yeah.
so our audience can follow them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a boomer, so it appeared with the HTTP. So yeah,
So now I think we have to start closing the program.
yes.
Yes, it has been really nice to have Jose over there. It has been really amazing. He has a really amazing guest, and I'm so happy to have it with you, Carmen. I really am.
Oh, it's always so nice and cozy to be here with you. It's almost like having a beer with friends, isn't it?
Exactly. How you can see click, click, click with the eye. So I hope our audience enjoy with ourselves, and don't forget to follow us for more content. Don't forget that tomorrow we have another program with workers, and of course we are going to have a Esports Business Live for the entire week. You have different sections, and Carmen, I will see you next week. I'm going to miss you again. I'm going to miss you. Probably
Ah.
we'll write you, but the audience doesn't have to know our love story.
Just reveal this, Yasmina.
It's true,
Thank you so
spirit spoiler
much.
alert here. So it has been really nice to see you all and see you on Monday the next week.
Bye.
Bye.